you and I were going to talk about completely falls into that box, which is to start with the Russia-Ukraine war, in which only one side of the story is told. And if you dare to have another point of view, the media will just say the most horrible things about you, right? You're whatever.
It is unbelievable that people don't understand why things is happening the way it's happening. They told us during 2010 and onward about Russian aggression. Every news item about that area was about Russian aggression. And really this is unbelievable, because let me explain a little bit background. In 2012, Mr. Yanukovych, which was a Russian-speaking Ukrainian, got elected as president. Right away, CIA and its group, the non-profit, so-called non-profit groups, went in and start creating tension in the society. And they were pushing Ukraine to become the member of the European Union, so-called European Union, and also NATO. So by 2014, they created a coup. In Maidan, we saw that people are being shot. And the Western media portray that as a government soldiers are shooting people. The fact was, it was a group of snipers hired by somebody to shoot both the demonstrators and also the police. They kill a lot of police, so they created a situation for so-called revolution. And they got rid of Mr. Democratically elected Yanukovych. And why I say democratically elected? Because in that election, when Yanukovych got elected, there were observers from all the Western countries, and all of them signed that the election was fair. So they got rid of that, and they created a situation to put oligarch like Poroshenko into power. And right from the start, they start attacking the Ukrainian, Western Ukrainian with the Nazi past. They start attacking the Russian-speaking Ukrainian. There is about 40% of the Ukrainian are Russian-speaking. And they start killing Russian-speaking Ukrainian. In May of 2014, they pushed the Russians into this union building and set it in fire. Dozens and dozens of people were killed, burned to death. Here, these are Ukrainian, Russian-speaking Ukrainian, that the Nazis, neo-Nazis, that brought to power by CIA coup in 2014, start killing Russian-speaking people, mostly in Luhansk and Donetsk. And nobody talk about that. There was the Russian push for a peace agreement. We had Minsk I and Minsk II. They supposed to sit and talk. Meanwhile, the Germany and signing to that, getting that. But later, in 2022, the president, the premier of Germany, Angela Merkel, said that that was all a show in order to arm Ukrainian to fight Russia. So they really didn't wanted the peace. In 2019, after Poroshenko people didn't want war, they didn't want Poroshenko that was pushing for war. They elected in the election a guy by the name of Vladimir Zelensky. Zelensky was an actor. One of his accomplishments was standing in a theater in front of audience, supposedly nude, playing piano with his private part. This is the guy that became the president of Ukraine, because at that time he said he's going to bring peace and harmony between people and no division. between Russian-speaking and Ukrainian-speaking Ukrainian. So people voted for him. But what does he do? After he got elected, he totally betrayed his promises. He was working, before he got elected, he was working for this tycoon in a TV station. The tycoon name is Igor Kolomansky. These are the few tycoons that were amassed lots of wealth after Ukraine separated from Russia. And Mr. Kolomansky, at the same time, was very close to Israel. He's a Jewish Ukrainian, an oligarch that doesn't really care about Ukraine. And at the same time that he was employing Mr. Zelensky before he became president, he was giving huge amount of money to funding the neo-Nazis, the neo-Nazi Azov battalion. These are the facts. Nobody can deny it because everybody can go and check, do some search with your computer and you will see them all there. There is no denial. So why is it a Jewish oligarch funding neo-Nazis to go attack Russian-speaking Ukrainian and burn them to death? And when Zelensky came to power, what he does, instead of, he was saying that he's going to bring peace, but what he did, he banned speaking Russian. Russian language was the official language in Ukraine. He banned it. And he also banned the Russian Orthodox Church. These are the same thing that the Nazis did in Ukraine and killed lots of Ukrainian, Russian-speaking Ukrainian at that time during World War II, and many massacre of Jewish Ukrainian. So Mr. Zelensky came and do exactly the same thing and empower group, neo-Nazi group like Azov Battalion. What did Canada do? What's the Canada role in all this? In 2015, the U.S. Congress passed a motion that banned their government and Pentagon to train or have any relationship with the neo-Nazis. So here come Canada. Okay, if United States ban, we do it. And Canada was training Azov Battalion, the Canadian Army, sent people there to train these neo-Nazis to do what? To kill people? And that's what they did. And meanwhile, now the war started in 2022, February 22. Between 2014 to 2022, more than 14,000 Russian-speaking Ukrainians were massacred and killed by the Ukrainian army and these neo-Nazis that later joined Ukrainian army, become part of Ukrainian army. We spent it since 2022, $19.5 billion of Canadian money went to Ukraine to continue the war, to make sure that the war will continue and the Russian and Ukrainian being killed. Why? Is Russia, they call about Russian aggression, is Russia on the border of Canada have troops? Why Canada sent 1,700 soldiers to Latvia? Why? To create tension? And none of these, if you go ask Canadian, do you know these things? They don't. Because the media, especially this ridiculous CBC, is lying to us all the time. And this is what's happened. So now Mr. Trudeau, just a few days ago, promised another $5 billion. So let's see what we could have done with $24 billion instead of encouraging the war and destruction of Ukraine and killing of people. We could have get rid of lots of our homeless problem. No. The money that we pay as a taxes has to go make war So the American arms manufacturer enjoy huge profit. That's what the whole thing is. And if you think if Mr. Poilievre come to power, he will be even worse. So where is the choice? Where is in this democracy you have? You think if Mr. Singh come to power, he's going to be any different? Of course not. A little bit different, but not much. Because the people that rule over us, they want their share of the wealth. We are only slaves to go to work and pay our taxes. So all of it becomes subsidy to these multinational corporations. And as long as we like it, we go get along, it's going to happen. So,
Mehdi, I would have to say that I agree almost totally with what you've just said, which doesn't mean that you and I are right, but to me, it means that Canadians have just been told a pack of misinformation. They've only been told one side of the story. That's what the media does. Believe me, everything Mehdi said, I've heard from others as well. I mean, there are experts in the field who would agree with what Mehdi has said. As Mehdi said, these are the facts, right? But our media and politicians don't tell us the facts. They tell us the official story. And unfortunately, a lot of people believe them, which I also believed it for most of